We should be treated like other legal licensed businesses.
Legalization would have a tremendous impact. That said, banks are now going to jump in bed with cannabis.
In 2016, a handful of states are considering making recreational marijuana legal, but it's still illegal at a federal level, which means businesses like this one in Colorado that want to sell cannabis still have a lot of barriers in the way. From the very beginning of the growing process, Colorado cannabis plants are highly regulated. Tim Cullen is the CEO of Colorado Harvest Company, and he showed us around his grow facility.
As you look at these plants here in front of us, you see that there are different colored tags on these plants. There are blue tags that are recreational plants, and there are yellow tags that are medical plants. There are radio frequency ID tags. They have barcodes and tracking information on them, and they're registered to this company. And so every plant has a tag on it, and it's these barcodes that are updated for anything that's watered in or sprayed onto these plants.
The tags are part of a state tracking system called Metric. Since 2013, Colorado has been using this system to track millions of plants to make sure cannabis companies are following all the laws.
Every night the store has to do what's called a Metric upload, where we upload all of our inventory sales that day, and it updates Metric, and then the state knows where all the product is at any given time.
So that's really highly regulated, but then...
Right, until you get to the banking side. So people do pay with cash.
Back at Cullen's dispensary, consumers have to pay in cash. In fact, the entire industry deals primarily in cash, which is harder to track.
Consumers are not allowed to use their debit cards or credit cards to purchase marijuana.
The system is a result of banks being wary of working with an industry that is still technically illegal on the federal level.
Until about 18 months ago, it was really iffy as to whether or not you could have a bank account. We had 14 accounts shut down in a couple-year period, and at one point ended up with no bank account at all. It might sound like a fun reality TV show to have lots and lots and lots of cash around, but in reality it's not fun at all. It means that we're hiring armed guards, we're keeping money in safes, and we're paying people with guns to sit there and watch it. We want banking.
Now, small banks in Colorado are starting to work with the cannabis industry, but that doesn't solve every problem. Lamine Zarad is a former bank regulator and now the CEO of Token, a startup that's hoping to give cannabis companies a way to track their transactions as closely as they track their plants, by recording those transactions using blockchain technology.
If you are going to keep these individuals outside of banking, they are forced to operate in cash, and if they are forced to operate in cash, they're a lot more high risk. Cannabis, in my opinion, could do one of two things. It could either harm a bank, as an industry, it can harm banking because they don't know how to deal with it, and they essentially force these law-abiding citizens to operate in a quasi-legal state. Or they can embrace it and try to analyze the risk. They're trying to understand these novelties that are sort of brought by this new industry.
Of course, legalizing recreational marijuana nationwide is high on the marijuana industry's wish list.
We should be treated like other legal licensed businesses.
But Zarad says that won't solve everything.
Prohibition on alcohol ended 82 years ago, and liquor stores are still considered high risk by most financial institutions. Cannabis has another 100 years or so before that stigma wears off, and banks are going to freely open their arms and accept those dispensaries and growers and extractors as relationships.
For Newsy, I'm Kate Grumke.